You get John on sales calls now on tier 11, which is actually pretty cool. And then you're diagnosing what the problem is for the business based upon what you see inside Google, which is really cool and really directional. And oftentimes we do talk about TCPA, we talk about TROAS and how they're maybe not being used correctly. One of the biggest things I think when you go into Google accounts is that a lot of these tools are being not necessarily used in the right way.
I'd like to share with you two different use cases about how we're using the TROAS and TCPA along with a different campaign, a cloned campaign, but then it's kind of proven that scale out, which is really nice. So I'll just kind of dive into share screen because I work a little bit better explaining it with examples.
There you go.
So to share screen here, there we are.
Stage. There we go.
University, community.
It's the famous screen.
The screen share. Yep. So with these are just two campaigns, but have been cloned. So we have people looking to get a real estate degree, and these are people who are looking to go to a community college. So what's interesting about this is you'll see that the bid strategy learning, I'm still in the thick of this. Like the community college one was just kind of more launched like 2 days ago, like changed. But what ended up happening before this, if we look at just like the 3rd through the 12th here, for example, is we have a campaign that is a manual that's spending, and my TROAS is not spending enough. And this one had a TROAS of that was only spending $895, trying to spend like $4,000 per day. And this max clicks one didn't work at all. Like it hasn't started yet. Like this is the new one that was launched. So we went from spending $4,300 from this time period of 3rd to the 12th. But then the period after that, 13th through the 22nd, now we're spending $28,000. So it's a massive increase this last like 10 days. And these are campaigns that we couldn't spend on and want to spend on. We want to get up as high as possible. So we see that there's a 548% increase in cost in just this last, was it 10 days. So the last 10 days, we scaled it up 548% and our conversion value went up 567%. So we have a more conversion value from our increase. So we're able to tack on additional, $24,000 in 10 days. We couldn't get over the $4,000 per 10-day period. That was the most we could spend in 10 days. Now we can spend $28,000. This is a massive scale. This is where on a TROAS, this is the most it could spend. Like it was not going anywhere, and it was not going anywhere for a while. These are not like all brand new campaigns that have been scaling to the moon. Like it was on like nothing. You can see now the lift. So these campaigns were not really spending much at all. It was like $600 and $500 a day. And now, yesterday and the day before, we're spending $4,000 a day. That's a massive improvement. And the reason why these things were not learning is because Google had no idea that a person's first click would work or not. So it didn't know. It didn't know. And one way to find out, for example, if I go into the attribution area and I look at yesterday, for example, look at this. 77% of all the people that converted yesterday were within one interaction, one ad click.
Jeez.
Now, what's crazy about this is if I was allowing all of my competition to give me their leftovers, I'm left over with this. And also actually even further out, I'm left over with all the people that clicked and didn't convert.
Right.
So with 77% of the people that converted yesterday were within one ad click, which means if I was allowing Ralph's company to get the 100 clicks and they had 77 conversions off those 100 clicks, like that converted within that first click. And then the leftover is, okay, hopefully the people there for the next 1 or 2 or 3 days will continue to search again. Google's holding my money saying, I need to, all the people that didn't convert on Ralph, they're going to search again. And hopefully Ralph doesn't get them. But if we can, we'll bid for you.
Right.
Also only if we know.
Or they might split it up between like 3, like how many advertisers you have in this particular case.
Right. This one, there's, I mean, we're going up against national colleges. So yeah. It was not going to work. Yeah, exactly. And so that's what sucks is like when we look at the auction insights of just this manual campaign, I got 9 competitors. Yeah, exactly. And I'm a nobody. I'm a lead gen site. I'm an aggregate site. So no one cares about me. I'm not developing a new and special unique thing for the industry. So when we're looking at why doesn't Google scale, It's because Google has no idea what they should scale into. It has no idea where to go. So when you run a max clicks campaign alongside of it, what ends up happening is this max clicks, if I just go like the last couple of days here, and I don't have all the revenue from yesterday, so the ROAS isn't real yet. Also, we only need to be above 100% for us to be profitable. That's why I'm using these metrics here. But I'll just take these two for example. These two campaigns here, the manual campaign, which it's called manual because I keep changing it. It's all on max clicks. But the max clicks campaign, what this did is it's now buying the people for $1.43, and it's giving them a really good positioning and placement. And yes, I'll win some sales here and there, but a lot of times what I'm getting the clicks for is really close related. So we have our keywords and our search terms look identical. Right. How to become a realtor. These are all the stuff that we've gone through before, but I've been able to get really in depth with this now and kind of understand why. So we first started off on manual. I did high CPC. I said I was going to test low CPC. That was where we left off like 1 or 2 weeks ago. Now when we're testing really low CPC, I get a much higher volume. What we end up finding is that when we go with low CPC, then the TROAS campaign can actually go a little bit higher CPC and actually earn more volume of traffic because there is a keyword conflict there.
Okay.
So what ends up happening here is those max clicks on manual allow for that broad match of TROAS to work really, really well. And we actually kind of find some cool stuff here. In the last 7 days, I actually ended up having to cut off a keyword because it started to non-perform. Now this week, this one here is starting to not perform here as well. Like, so I'm cutting off all the broad match ones because these broad matches are getting so smart. And Google is basically just saying, like, as long as it has to do with like a real estate license, that's just going to be my winner, because all of my manual or all my max clicks is like all around a real estate license. You can see like real estate license is going to match for like pretty much all the ones that are kind of converting at least a high ROAS.
Makes total sense.
It's really, really, really interesting how Google's just choosing. And that's why when you run broad match, you're like, I got 3 broad match keywords that show for everything. But that's when there's a high amount of search traffic for a well-established industry. But if you're looking to say, hey, there maybe isn't, or it's not growing, or I'm stuck, or I can't scale, or I can't grow, a max clicks exact match with high intent will tell Google, these are all the people that are clicking. And if I win some searches on them, great. If I can win searches on my max clicks, my max clicks campaign, great. This, sorry, not the community college, the real estate. If I look here, the last couple of days when this thing is starting to kind of scale up and I've been trying to make it a little bit more profitable, this one right here has basically paid for itself. So this campaign, my break even is 100%. So this $1,000 here that made 1,000 is just in order to get this 4,500 to make 64. And so now we spend 5,500, make 7,500. I got $2,000 in profit, pure profit now the last 2 days. That's great for 2 campaigns, for $2,000 profit. But this one basically ends up paying for itself. And so as you start to achieve a better result inside of your manual campaign, things like your positioning, your keywords, your search terms, like make sure you're doing your negative keywords. Like, don't just throw this thing out and be like, well, good enough. Like, try to see where your first clicks are coming in from that are actually working well, because that you can buy all those incrementally. So you have to focus on the keywords and search terms that are actually starting to work better. So this one right here is getting 127. Great. This one, again, you kind of see real estate license. Remember how that one's my winner inside of my TROAS campaign? It's also the winner inside of here. So you're kind of starting to find similarities between the two. So you're looking at a amalgamation of both. It is, what is my good quality search terms, whether you know about that person or you don't, because when you do know about that person also converts. So you're using one to feed the other. The people that are using these type of search terms are starting their journey. And I found one of like the closest exact starting points of my journey that most often converts, because my max clicks campaign is already delivering me, a really good 2x on that search term. So this one right here, how to become a real estate agent. This one works actually pretty well inside of the TROAS campaign, but not as good as that one. So as you start to find all of the negatives and positive in your keywords, like these are the ones that we have 713, and these are the ones that are left over. We started really wide.
So you whittled them down.
713, and we're left with 25 so far. And that 25 is now getting us better. And so now I'm going to look
Got
at
it.
what other ones am I going to start to shut off as well? Because if I can max clicks incrementally scale up my first click, which is also stupidly shared with my TROAS campaigns, which is kind of funny. So if I look at my all conversion column, for example, you'll have to actually take into consideration the data-driven attribution model as well. Where, okay, I do have all conversions here. My all conversions, these things are going to be split with my TCPA campaign. And so that's my all conversion value. Where's my all conversions? I had it in here. There we go. These things actually will be split with my other campaign. They're just on a different bidding strategy or a different attribution model right now. So what's really cool about this is if you're using a max click strategy to start the journey of these people, that also broad matched version of that in your TROAS campaign is then going to be able to use all that data and continually scale up. So it's a way to bolt on a sacrificial campaign, optimize a sacrificial campaign in order to make it as profitable as possible, so that when you take all of these campaigns in together, we are just now scaling this up. Then what I'm going to do is after I get this thing up to about 5-10 grand a day, I'm going to slap a nice TROAS on that thing and just hang tight, because I have now 119 other enabled campaigns that I'm going to be doing this with. So as we start to hyper segment, get it to a point of scalability, lock it in with a TROAS, do it all over again, 100 more times. So it's really interesting to see how this algorithm works, where you lock in a TROAS or TCPA, it doesn't scale. We are now cracking the code at how to buy all that traffic for you inexpensively, so that you're also the one that wins the return search wherever they're at in their journey.